hello there, we are back. Thank you. I finished my break. So now we will be continuing on with the stream. Alright, since a new scene, I'll go over the bets. Alright, now let's continue. Alright, in the end, Soichi's group started moving around 11 a.m. Thanks to that, they've been able to take a longer break than they expected to heal from their exhaustion.
宗一の言う通りならこの部屋に4つ目の鍵があるはずなんだけど。
If it's as you say, Soichi, there should be 4 keys in this room. Karin, who was walking in the head of the group with Soichi, opened the door. Soichi looked in first, but as with every other room to this point, there was no one in there. There it is. But in exchange, they found the big box. If it was a... Wait, hold on a second. Sorry, Karin's line earlier was, the 4th key should be in this room. This was the same as what they found up till now. There should be supplies along with the 4th key in there. You're so clever, big bro. Yuki stood on her tiptoes and rubbed Soichi's hair. Tried to rub his hair. But she wasn't tall enough and only managed to make it up to his forehead. So Soichi decided to help her up a little bit so she could reach where she wanted. Oh, Mitsurugi. Good boy. Soichi's group had found 3 keys to the rectangular area they were sealed in different rooms. They searched for the first 2 blindly, and Soichi figured out the location to the 3rd and 4th ones once he found the first 2. Fortunately, he was right on the mark. He managed to get the 4th, and the 4th box had appeared before them without any issue. We hit the jackpot, Soichi. There's a key in there. Karin, he'd run into the room first, took the lid off the box with one hand and turned around with a smile. Anything else aside from a key? There've been in the 3 ones up till now, there have been also other tools with them. Like food, first aid kit, software and tools they could use with a PDA, and even a bulletproof vest. All of them would protect the group. So they're expecting the 4th to have something similar. Hold on a second. Karin looked into the box with a smile. She didn't shuffle around in the box and turn it inside out for a bit. But no matter how much she, but eventually she stopped. So what's wrong? Uneasy, Soichi ran over to Karin's side.
Soichi.
Karin looked up at Soichi with tense face. Look at this. pointing to the box. This is... There were dozens of pistols in the box. Hold on a second. Alright, back. I think we should go about this another way. Karin had suggested opening the shutters right away, but Soichi had shut her down.
どうしてさ?
Why is that? Up until now, I thought we could just simply open the shutters and leave with the keys. When I think about that calmly, I get a bad feeling about this. The thing that made Soichi think that was the large amount of pistols they found with the fourth key. They checked them all, but they were all real. Oh, sorry, they checked several of them, but they were all real. So he thought it was safe to assume that all the ones in the box were real. It wasn't just pistols in the box. There were also knives, machetes, and even a Japanese sword. They were the kind of weapons they'd find on old they'd find from Yakuzas and old police TV shows. In a situation where we'll need to use these weapons, this amount of weapons is waiting for us. And is it really safe to just do as we're told and open the shutters? What if there's some other kind of mechanism or trap waiting beyond them?
でもお兄ちゃん、ぐずぐずしてたら首輪が。
But big bro, if we sit around for too long, our collars will... Yeah, that's true, but... And that was precisely why he was worried. Right now, the group was on the 3rd floor. The 1st floor had already become a forbidden area, so they didn't have much more time here. They had to get out of this area and go up to the 4th floor before the 3rd floor became a forbidden area.
三剣さん、どちらかに決めましょう。鍵を使うにしろ、使わないにしろ、急いだ方がいいんですから。
Mitsurugi, we need to come to a decision. Whether we use the keys or not, we have to act fast. Yeah, that's right. What should we do then? If we use the keys, we'll probably be able to get out of here, no doubt. But we might be playing right into our opponent's hands. On the other hand, is there another way to get out of here? Is there really no other such way? What if we don't find a way like that?
どうする、宗一?
What should we do, Soichi?
お兄ちゃん。
Big bro. Alright, let's use the keys. In the end, Soichi decided to use the keys. When consider they might not find... Hold on. When considered they might not find their way to escape without using the keys in the amount of time they had left, he concluded that using the keys was the only way. It would be pointless if they just had to end up using the keys in the end anyway, and he was nervous about making the girls hurry if they did it at the last second. So in the end, we're just playing in the hands of the people who set this up. Soichi bitterly grit his teeth. In exchange, once we've opened the shutters, we'll immediately go back here. If there's a trap or something that doesn't leave you in a place to do so, just stay where you are, don't move. I'll use this and look for everyone. Soichi said that as he showed his own PDA. Soichi installed the software he'd found in this area onto his PDA. What he installed was a software that displayed the building's audio sensors, the information from the building's audio sensors onto his map. He couldn't use it too much because it consumed an extreme amount of battery. Thanks to that, even if they got split up, Soichi would have no trouble going after them. I got it, big bro. Yes. Me too. So how are we gonna split this up? And so, Soichi's group tried to escape from the closed circle they were in. I just hope nothing happens when we open this. Soichi looked up at all alone at the shutter in front of him. The cursed shutter had kept Soichi's group sealed in here for over 10 hours. But on the other hand, it also kept any enemies from getting to them. If there are other guns lying around this building, then there's a possibility that once they open the shutter, there could be someone waiting on the other side of it, holding one of those things. And the problems didn't just stop there. Soichi felt there was some sort of scheme on in having the four of them open the shutters from different places using the keys. But there was no other way to open it up. If there was some sort of scheme in mind, then there shouldn't be any other way to open it up. Let's check the time. Okay, just 30 more seconds, huh? The PA clock showed 1:59 p.m. 30 seconds. The group had decided to turn the keys at precisely 2 p.m. So Soichi put the key he had inside the keyhole on the console in front of him. The key fit perfectly into the keyhole. All that was left was to turn it. Alright, just to be safe. So he turned on his PDA and brought up the motion sensor information. When he did, he found nothing was displayed on the third floor. In other words, no one was moving on the third floor right now. Looks like we're okay for now then. Soichi returned the PDA to the standby screen. There were 10 seconds left. I got a bad feeling about this, but we've got no other choice. Alright. 5, 4, 3. Soichi started counting down when there were 5 seconds left. The other 3 should be doing the same thing. 2, 1. Now! Soichi turned the key. The key made a light metallic sound of contact as it turned, but it turned with very little resistance. Moments after Soichi had finished turning the key, a blue light turned on the console. And then with a loud sound and motion, the shutters slowly started going up. Good. Looks like the other 4 are open as well. Soichi checked the motion sensors again to find movement coming from all 4 shutters. A lot of sensors were responding as the only motions detected were all centered around this area. All right. Once Soichi confirmed the shutter had opened up, he turned his back to the shutter. There was no mechanism or hostile opponents like he'd been fearing. He wanted to regroup with his team soon. Maybe I was just worrying too much. Soichi quickly returned to the rendezvous point.
Mitsurugi-san!
Sakumi was already there when Soichi got to the rendezvous point. She smiled and waved when she saw Soichi.
無事でよかった、Mitsurugi-san.
I'm glad you're alright, Mitsurugi. You too, Sakumi. The two of them had cheerful face expressions. Two of them were a bit relieved to see that what they'd been fearing hadn't happened. All that's left is Karin and Yuki, huh?
きっとすぐに戻ってきますよ。
I'm sure they'll be back soon. Sakumi and Soichi's shutters have been positioned closest to the rendezvous point. Since it was different to act alone, they decided to wait. Hold on, sorry. I think I might have misread that. Yeah, since it was dangerous, the 2 oldest have been set up near there. Yeah, Karin and Yuki had traveled them up to a little point. Their shutters were just a little bit distance away from theirs. So just like Soichi and Sakumi, they should return together as well. Did you see anything strange on your end, Sakumi?
特には何も。Mitsurugi-sanの方は？
Nothing in particular. What about you, Mitsurugi? Yeah, it was fine. All fine with me too. Nothing happened. Maybe I was just worrying too much. Might have just ended up scaring Yuki and Karin for no reason. Soichi gave a wry smile as he felt a wave of relief. When he did, Sakumi just shook her head with a smile of her own.
Mitsurugi-sanがそれを何のために口にしたのか、あの子たちはちゃんと分かっていますよ。
I'm sure they understood why you said that. Think so?
はい。少なくとも私はそうですもの。
Yes, at the very least I do. Sakumi continued smiling as she gently put her hands to her chest. When he saw that smile, Soichi flashed back to the dream he had this morning.
でも宗一、あんたは自分が裏切らなければいいって思ってる。自分だけが裏切らなければ他はどうでもいいって。
But Soichi, you think he'll be fine as long as you don't betray. As long as you and you alone don't betray, nothing else matters.
あんたはあの子たちを利用しているだけ。助けてなんていないのよ。
You're just using those girls. You're not helping them. It's not ridiculous. I care for them. There's no way it couldn't be. The more Sakumi looked at him with trust, and the more she gave him a friendly smile, Soichi felt intense irritation build up in his heart. Just as Soichi is brought back to reality before his thoughts could go any further by the sound of Karin shouting from further down. Okay, checking the bets again. Karin? Soichi went out to the hallway expecting Karin and Yuki to return, only to see Karin there by herself. Yuki was nowhere to be found. What happened? The bad feeling rose in Soichi's mind again. Yuki was taken away! With Karin's scream, Soichi realized his fears had become reality. What? Yuki was taken away? It was him. The old man from before came back. Old man? That guy? Soichi immediately realized she was referring to the plump, middle-aged man. He had harassed Yuki over and over again when they first met, and he attacked them without hearing them out the second time. Let's hurry up and go after them, Soichi. Find Yuki using your PDA. By the time Karin shouted for the fourth time, Soichi was already running. His goal, of course, was to find Yuki. I'm sorry, Soichi. If only I'd been more careful. Doesn't matter. Just tell me what happened. Soichi operated his PDA, as he placed a hand on the panicked Karin's shoulder. Karin looked like she was about to burst into tears any second. It seems she blamed herself for what happened to Yuki. Well, you see, when the shutter was halfway up, I heard Yuki scream. I got surprised and went back to the hallway, and when I did, I saw the old man carrying Yuki as she cried. Karin hastily explained. But her voice was haggard. Not only was she running, but she still was almost on the verge of tears, hence why. Hold on a second. I tried to chase after them, but they went into this maze of hallways, and I lost sight of them. And so you went back?
ごめん、本当にごめん、ソイチ。ソイチが前もって危ないかもって言ってくれてたのに。
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Soichi. And you said it would be, and you said before that it could be dangerous. Just then, Karin burst into tears. See, it's because of her sister. When he saw that, Soichi slowed down a little. And took Karin's head into his hand, brought her close. Karin, it's not your fault. Even if I probably couldn't have stopped that man, even if I were there instead of you. Don't worry about a thing. We still have a chance to take her back. That's all that matters. Soichi checked the motion sensors. The man was passing right through them. Wait, hold on a second. Soichi had checked the motion sensors. The man had slipped right past them. Even if Soichi had been there instead of Karin, he probably couldn't have stopped Yuki from being taken away either. Besides, we all knew there was some danger from the start. Yuki just got unlucky, that's all. The same thing could have happened to any of them if they'd been where Yuki was. All of them were in danger. Even so, I'm sorry. Look, I'm the one who screwed up. I should have been more against this. I was naive in the end, even though I should have known that. I shouldn't have let her go alone. Am I gonna let Yuki die again from my... Hold on. Will Yuki die again from my own naive decision? Soichi gritted his teeth with indignation towards himself building up in his heart. And again. I let Yuki go on their own again.
Soichi!
Karin looked up when she noticed the sound. When she thought it might be her fault, Soichi had that look on his face. She grew even more worried for him. I'm sorry, Karin. I'm not mad at you. So when Soichi looked at Karin's face, he tried to regain his composure. Calm down. Calm down. There's still time. I might be able to make it in time this time around. Panicking won't solve anything. But Soichi... I was just pissed off at my own stupidity, that's all. Soichi didn't let go of Karin's head. But even so, Karin looked up at Soichi with concern. You don't have to look so upset, Karin. It's not your fault. If you keep making a cute face like that, I may make a move on you next besides Yuki and Sakumi, you know that? Yeah, I'm sorry. Karin nodded, wiped her eyes, and sped up a little. Like I said, you don't have to apologize. Soichi gave Karin a light tap on the head.
Soichi.
You're right. Thank you, Soichi. That's fine. Karin, Sakumi, let's hurry. Okay. Right. Please be safe, Yuki. Soichi made that prayer as he chased after Yuki using the guidance of his PDA. How much farther? A few more blocks. That guy's carrying Yuki, so he's slowed down. Let's catch him. Soichi's PDA showed 2 blips. One of them was the group's current position, while the other was the fleeing middle-aged man's position. The nearby motion sensors picked up on both of their movements and showed them and sent them to the information to Soichi's PDA.
Yuki-chan, どうか無事でいて。
Please be safe, Yuki.
あと少し待ってて、Yuki.
Just a little more. Wait for us, Yuki. Soichi's group was just a few blocks away from the middle-aged man, Yuki. They were much farther away at first. But since the middle-aged man was carrying Yuki, he wasn't able to move all that fast, allowing them to close the distance. Huh? They stopped. Where? At this room in the middle up ahead. Let's hurry, Mitsurugi. Right. Everyone's faces brightened a little. When they thought about what lay up ahead, they couldn't be optimistic. But they were happy that they were catching up to Yuki. Hold on a sec. Okay. If it comes down to it, I'll take down that old man. Knock down the old man, sorry. Their opponent in question tried to slice Soichi with a knife. When he thought of Soichi being in his hand, when he thought of Yuki being in his hands, Soichi's heart felt like it was going to burst from worry. That fact alone was reducing his thoughts to simple levels.
Soichi, 追いついたらあのセクハラ親父の顔蹴っ飛ばしてもいい?
Hey Soichi, once we catch up to them, can I kick that perverted old man's ass? Karin said that with a serious face, captured she felt similar to Soichi.
危ないから気をつけてくださいね.
It's dangerous, so please be careful. Sakumi answered before... Sakumi answered before Soichi could. I never thought I'd see that from you, Sakumi.
本当はこんなの嫌ですけど、今度ばかりはのんきにしていられない気がするんです.
Normally... Actually... In reality, I hate this sort of thing. I don't feel like we can afford to be, taking the situation lightly this time. For the most part, Sakumi try to avoid any violent actions. That just went to show how angry she was now. Her eyebrows were furrowed, her mouth curled into a frown. Indignation, her face was raw of indignation. Her normal, gentle self was nowhere to be found.
It
was bad enough when he tried to cut you, but taking a child is just crossing the line. I'm gonna get Yuki back as soon as possible. You're scary when you're angry, Sakumi. Suddenly there was a sound of gunshots. And not just one. They could hear them from the several successive gunshots from the direction they were running towards. It was on a whole different level of power from the pistols they tested out earlier. What? Surprised, Soichi came to a halt, and the gunshots continued. Since there were so many hallways, the echoes made it hard to hear. But Soichi could tell they were gunshots, that they were coming from the direction they were going down. Sakumi's face went pale. While Soichi and Karen were frozen, she alone started running on ahead. Soichi was painfully aware of what Sakumi was imagining right now. Karen was surely the same. Yuki! Let's go, Karen! Right! So Soichi and Karen went running alongside Sakumi as fast as they could. So they could get to Yuki as fast as possible. None of them were concerned about the danger that could be lying up ahead. The room you are trying to enter has been designated a non-combat area. Combat is forbidden inside this room. Those who violate the rule will be executed, no exceptions. The PDAs announced at in front of the room that this was a non-combat area. This is probably the smell of blood, isn't it? Two of you stay back. I'm going in first. They all, after glancing at their PDAs once, they head back a little. But they had no time to worry about that right now. So she grabbed the doorknob. Is there an enemy in there? Or... his other hand was reached for the pistol at on the backside of his waist, but he lowered his hand again when he remembered that he was going into a non-combat area. Here I go. Be careful, Mitsurugi. Soichi opened the door at once without responding to Sakumi. At that moment, the area grew thick with the scent of blood. thick enough to drive bile up his throat. It flooded right out of the door. What the? Then Soichi saw what lay behind the other side of the door. Just as the name non-combat area would indicate, the room was filled with far more peaceful atmosphere than the other places they've been up till now. There was a sofa, table set up. There was a kitchen, bedrooms, and a shower room also, making it look like a classy room in comparison. What's more, there wasn't a speck of dust to be found anywhere. Considering that all these seen up to now were dirty rooms and hallways, the group was surprised by how fresh it looked. No, they should have been surprised by how fresh it looked. But there was something bizarre about the room as well. Hold on a second. Alright, the closets, large shelves, and the relatively, big cabinets all had their doors were all thrown open. But the three of them didn't care about any of that at the moment. Karin gasped with surprise. Sakumi screamed. Ah! Even Soichi couldn't hold back a scream from that intense sight. The corpse of a plump middle-aged man lay there, riddled with bullets all over. He'd seen the boy be electrocuted to death when he, he'd almost been killed by a trap. Seen the boy, electrocuted to death. And the man had slashing of a knife, right in the place where there was a trap. So Soichi prepared for the possibility there might be something, might see worse things up ahead. But when he saw the moment he saw the middle-aged man's body, his resolve scattered and flew away into the wind. Scattered to the winds. The man lay face down in an ever-spreading pool of his own blood. In the same pool was a PDA with large hole in it. PDA was probably no longer usable. His eyes were wide, and his mouth hung open. The group could tell just by looking that the man had been screaming in fear and agony. The resentment and The resentment and despair. No, just seeing the look of resentment, despair, fear, and anger that oozed from that face made them want to throw up. But that wasn't all that made them want to throw up. What they found even more shocking were the countless holes strewn across his body. There were generally two kinds of wounds. The first were gunshot wounds riddling his body. They literally reduced him to Swiss cheese. The spreading pool of blood was oozing from those countless holes. And what scared the group most of all were the bullets in his head. The bullets had rained down on his face, leaving his expression of the agony of death on his face, full of holes. And the blood that oozed out of those holes painted his face mad red. The second kind of wound were knife wounds. They were on his neck and abdomen. Judging from the fact there was a knife sticking in his abdomen, they conclude that he'd been slashed in the neck first, then stabbed in the abdomen. The wound on his neck was deep, and his flesh was gouged out all the way to the bone. Small spurts of blood gushed out from that cross-section. Yeah, from that stump. Since the wound on his abdomen was a stab wound, it wasn't that deep. But the fresh vividness that showed that he had been stabbed pierced the group's hearts. He was slashed across the neck and stabbed in the abdomen. And as he'd been writhing in agony, he'd been shot with a hailstorm of bullets. That was how he'd been killed. That's right! What about Yuki? Soichi had almost been shocked out of his mind at the sight of the man's corpse like he had at the boy who'd been electrocuted. But he managed to keep himself standing from the fact he was looking for Yuki. That's right, don't stop. Keep moving forward. Soichi desperately stood up on his trembling legs and entered the room. It seemed like Sakumi and Karin were in no state of mind for that, as they held each other up and watched Soichi. Yuki! Yuki, where are you? The man should have taken Yuki away. She's not here. Where'd she go? but the only one in the room was the man's corpse. Yuki was nowhere to be found. No way. Did the people who killed the man take her away too? The person who killed the man take her away too. Soichi took out his PDA and hastily activated the motion sensors information. But the only motion detected was in the room the group was in. Just the restless Soichi and the nearly stunned to tears Sakumi and Karen. Where did the person, no, it might be people, who'd killed this man go? If they'd run away when they noticed the group's presence, it's just they had to be nearby. No, or maybe they're hiding around here. The motion sensors couldn't detect anything that wasn't making any sound or vibrations, of course. So if the target remained absolutely still, then it couldn't be detected. That was why they couldn't stop Yuki from being taken away. Just then, the sensors read a bit of movement at that moment. In the kitchen up ahead? The movement came from the kitchen in the non-combat area. There was just a door standing between them and between it and Soichi's group. Yuki? Or the person who killed the man? Or is it just a simple vibration in the air? Soichi tiptoed slowly towards the door of the kitchen.
Mitsurugi-san?
Feeling concerned when she saw Soichi moving further and further away, Sakumi called out to him. When she did, Soichi turned to Sakumi's direction and placed his hand to his mouth to indicate to tell her to be quiet. He then pointed towards the kitchen door. Sakumi seemed to have quickly caught on as she nodded and went quiet. In her heart, she prayed for Soichi to be safe.
Sakumi-san, Soichi wa dou shita no?
Sakumi, what's up with Soichi?
声を小さくしてください、カリンさん。
Keep your voice down, Karen.
どうも台所の方で誰かいるらしいんです。
It seems there's someone in the kitchen.
台所に
In the kitchen? As Sakumi and Karen were talking, Soichi arrived right in front of the door of the kitchen. And with the two of them watching on, he reached for the door. Please don't make any sounds. Soichi opened the door, turned the doorknob as cautiously as he could. Hold on a second. Alright, when he turned the doorknob, a spring on the inside made a small, high-pitched noise. Soichi's body froze at that moment. Please! It Didn't seem like there was anyone. You couldn't tell if there was someone on the other side of the door. Might be Yuki or it could be the killer. Or maybe no one was there. And someone in the kitchen just shaking. But since there might be danger there, Soichi couldn't afford to let his guard down. It wasn't just for his safety, but also Yuki as well as Sakumi and Karin's. He quietly opened the door so he wouldn't make any more noise. Hold on a second. Soichi paid close attention once he let go of the doorknob too. Where are they? What did the sensor pick up? Soichi looked into the kitchen from the door. There was no movement in the kitchen. There was no sign of the pots and pans hanging on the wall, shaking. Strange. Doesn't look like anything's out of the ordinary. Soichi quietly tiptoed into the kitchen. As he did so, the kitchen was wrapped in silence. All that could be heard was Soichi's breathing and his faint footsteps. Maybe it was a malfunction. Maybe I was just seeing things. Once he got as far as he could, Soichi took a look around the whole kitchen. Seemed to have been a big kitchen to begin with. As there was a rather big condition. There's a rather big kitchen compared to the door before them. It had several stoves and ovens. The fridge was large. Hold on a second. The fridge was large and there appeared to be a storehouse down below. Where did Yuki go? Just then, Soichi heard a noise right behind him. Soichi almost gasped from the sudden sound. He'd let his guard down, but he managed to keep his voice down. Keep his voice from coming out. He then held his loudly beating chest, and turned around. There was a large storage area there. Storage unit there. It was easily taller than Soichi. Hold on a second. Sorry, 1 second. Alright, it was easily larger than Soichi, and when he opened the door attached to it, he found that it was apparently for storing tableware and cookware. The sound come from the storage unit? Storage cabinet? There were 4 doors in the unit. All of them were about 1 meter in size. It was indeed big enough for one person to hide in each. Soichi gulped and reached for one of the doors. It was right behind Soichi. Couldn't imagine the sound come from anywhere but this door. Maybe someone's hiding in here, or... Soichi resolved himself and quickly opened the door. Sun was curled into a ball inside. Surprised by the sound of the door opening, that person looked up at Soichi. Once they realized it was Soichi, the surprise on their face turned to a different kind of surprise. Big bro? That person then hastily crawled out of there and tried to stand up, but couldn't do so due to the chaos, confusion, and fear. So she reached out for Soichi, her knees still on the floor. Yuki? The one inside the storage unit was Yuki, the one the group had been searching for. When Soichi took her hand, she immediately started sobbing loudly. Yuki, it's okay. You're safe now. Must have been scary on your own, huh? Big bro. Big bro. Yuki gripped Soichi's hand with both of her own and kept sobbing. She couldn't stand due to the stress and fear she felt. Is the old man gone now? I don't have to worry about guns, the pistol anymore? Yuki shivered where she was. Soichi kneeled down to her level and placed his hands on her tiny shoulders. It's okay, Yuki. You don't have to be scared anymore. That man and the gun is gone now. Really? Yeah. So, when Soichi nodded, Yuki's face scrunched up with even more tears as she cried again. Her cry was louder than any before. She must have been holding in that cry up until now, huh? She must have been so scared. You're okay now. don't have to worry. I'll keep you safe. Soichi lightly tapped Yuki's shoulders. She then threw her tiny body at Soichi. Big bro. I'm sorry, Yuki. I won't leave you alone ever again. Yuki just wouldn't stop crying, perhaps from relief. She clung to Soichi's neck and cried. So in reality, her cries were actually quite loud to Soichi. But all he could feel was relief when he heard them. He was so relieved that the strength left his body, and he couldn't stand for a while. I'm so glad you're safe, Yuki. Seriously. Soichi said that as he embraced her small, dainty body. Yuki leaned her tiny, shivering body against Soichi, as if saying they would never leave them again. Her again.
Mitsurugi-san! Soichi! Yuki mo!
Sakumi and Karin, having heard the ruckus, ran in. It seemed they'd recovered from the shock when they heard Yuki's cries, and their faces had regained their former vitality. Yuki, I'm so glad you're safe. I see, so this is where you were hiding, Yuki. You're so smart. They both smiled while saying that, and looked at Yuki's face. For a moment, Yuki stopped crying, and looked at their faces, one at a time, for crying again. And the old man told me to make food, so I... And then I heard someone come into the room over there, and I heard all that gunfire. Sorry, I shouldn't have said pistol earlier, I meant gunfire. And so you hid in here, Yuki? Soichi gently rubbed Yuki's back as she cried. Yuki nodded, her chest over and over again, her face buried in Soichi's chest. It was a good stroke of fortune that he told her to go in here to make food. If she'd been with him, then... Soichi felt shivers down his spine when he imagined that. Oh, thank goodness. I didn't know how things were going to turn out there. Karin said that and approached the storage unit as she smiled. She'd felt guilty about what happened to you. She felt personally responsible for what happened to Yuki, so her relief was great. You're right about that. Much the same, Sakumi was smiling as she wiped her own tears over and over again. Huh? Sakumi stopped wiping her tears. She She then approached Soichi and Yuki a little, still smiling.
ゆきちゃん、眠ってしまいましたね。
You were asleep, weren't you, Yuki? No, Yuki's asleep, isn't she? Yuki had stopped crying at some point. Soichi looked at Yuki's face when he heard Sakumi, and found that her eyes were shut as she continued leaning against Soichi. She then breathed in her sleep peacefully. She really was asleep. She must have been exhausted once all the tension left her. When Soichi checked that, he held Yuki and stood up.
ソイチ、どうしたの？
Something wrong, Soichi? Finding it strange that Soichi had stood up, Karin, who'd been leaning against the table, moved away from it. We need to get out of here. This place is dangerous.
危険？ここは戦闘禁止エリアだよ。
Dangerous? But this place is a non-combat area. That's why it's dangerous. Soichi hastily tried to leave the kitchen. Sakumi and Karin jogged right after him.
どういうことですか？
What do you mean? Did you forget this, you guys? This man was killed right here in the non-combat area. When I left the kitchen, that sight from earlier returned.
そうか！
Oh, right. Sakumi and Karin froze in place. The man had been killed in the non-combat area. According to the non-combat area rules, there was nothing saying that self-defense was allowed, unlike the initial 6-hour combat restriction rule. So there was no chance that the man had attacked someone here and they'd killed him in retaliation. Even if he had, that person's collar should have activated.
じゃあソイチ、戦闘禁止エリアの中で人が殺せる奴がいるってこと？
So you're saying there's someone who can kill in non-combat areas? I think so. Blood drained from Karin and Sakumi's faces.
首輪を外した人が賞金を目当てに他の人を殺して回ってるってことでしょうか？
Maybe someone got their collar off and is killing other people to increase their share of the prize money? There's also a possibility that someone tried to lure and trap us in here. No, hold on a second. Soichi stopped in place. Maybe the fourth rule, the one we don't know about, something special written in it.
あとはまた何か PDA とかエクストラゲームとか。
Or maybe it has something to do with the PDAs or an extra game. Yeah, that could also be it. You have a point. Soichi started walking again. The exit to the non-combat area is right in front of him. Anyway, it's dangerous for us to be in a place where we can't fight back. If we stay here, we'll just get slaughtered without being able to defend ourselves. When the group had come in here, they'd seen no signs in their mysterious enemy. But it wouldn't be strange if they came back any time now. It was dangerous to keep staying here. Though the non-combat area could protect them from those who were bound by the rules, it offered no defense against those who were not bound by the rules. In fact, this led to the huge downside of not being able to fight back. This is bad. How can we defend ourselves? Can we stay safe for the next 2 days like this? The situation was getting worse and worse. The group had been thinking they'd be safe once they found a non-combat area, but the turn of events here had thrown their plans into disarray. If we don't find a way to protect ourselves, if we don't think of a way to protect ourselves, then we'll... It was right then that they appeared in front of Soichi. Okay, checking the bets. Okay, let's continue. The door opened on its own just before Soichi could grab the doorknob. What? Soichi was surprised, but even so, an unfamiliar person appeared on the other side of the door. He was a slender, middle-aged man, and he was accompanied by, a woman in a receptionist uniform. Seeing the others behind them, but Soichi couldn't see them, but the group couldn't see him behind the first two. This is bad. Are those enemies back? Soichi couldn't react quickly since she was holding Yuki. So, Karen drew her gun and pointed them at their new arrivals. At that moment, the woman in front of them also drew her gun. Karen, don't! Did you forget where we are? Sakumi hastily grabbed Karen's hand. But even so, we can't afford to get killed like that old man. Wait, hold on. Just then, the middle-aged man cut in between Karen and the woman. What would shooting each other get us here? We're in a non-combat area, right? Everyone, just calm down. Huh? Wait, then that means... Soichi had first thought that the person in front of them were people in front of them were the ones who'd killed the man here. Once he heard the man say that, he started thinking this all might just be a big coincidence. Fumika, lower your gun. I will when they do. Karen, it's okay. I think these people are alright. I think we're safe with them. Around them. Soichi readjusted his grip on Yuki and sent Karen a glance. When she locked eyes with Soichi, Karen nodded and lowered her gun. When she did, the woman called Fumika breathed a sigh of relief and lowered her gun as well. Looks like you're on edge here, huh? The man scratched his cheek as he turned back to Soichi's group. His face oozed with relief. Just like Soichi, when he locked eyes with him, he gave a little bit of a wry smile. I'm sorry, we just got passed through a little bit of a shocking incident here.
我々もだ。追い回されたり、殺されかけたりして散々だったよ。
Us too. We were chased around and almost killed. Looks like they're willing to listen to reason. Unlike the plump man, the boy who attacked them, the man in front of them showed no hostile intent. As a result, Soichi's arms loosened a bit around Yuki, the tension fading slightly from him.
おじさま、あれを。
Mr. Hazuki, look! It was at that moment, that the one with the man, knows the scene behind Soichi's group.
どうしたフミカさん。あれは。
What is it, Fumika? That's... The man's peaceful smile faded and tensed up when he saw it. Yeah, no surprise there. Soichi thought the man's expression was only natural.
さっき君の言ったショッキングな事件っていうのはあれのことかい。
So that's the shocking incident you were talking about? Yes. Soichi quickly admitted it. He had no reason to hide it. So we need to get out of this non-combat area right away. This place is dangerous. Every second counts. What was most important to Soichi right now was getting out of the non-combat area as soon as they could.
どういうことだい。いや、わかった。まずはここを出よう。
What do you mean? No, I understand. Let's get out of here first. The man quickly turned around as though he'd perceived something from the look on Soichi's face.
おじさま、いいんですか？あれは。
Are you sure about this, Mr. Hazuki? That's...
僕は彼は嘘を言っていないと思うよ。寝ている小さな女の子を抱えて言う嘘ではないよ。
I don't think they're lying. Not while carrying a sleeping little girl like that.
戦闘禁止エリアなんだから、そっと寝かしておいてやりたいのが普通だろう。
It's a non-combat area. So you think it's only natural they want to let her rest?
それを連れて出ようって言うんだ。本当に危険なんだろう。
Let's take her and go. This really is dangerous.
わかりました。
Alright. The woman nodded and left the room first.
すまないね。僕は葉月という。
I'm sorry about that. I'm Hazuki. I'm Soichi Mitsurugi.
ソイチ君か。では急ごう、ソイチ君。
Soichi, is it? Then let's hurry, Soichi. Got it. And so Soichi's group finally left the non-combat area. Alright, save and bet. Yuki woke up when Soichi's group had finished exchanging information.
お姉ちゃん。
Big sis. Yuki rubbed her eyes and sat up and called out to Sakumi, who was sitting right next to her. Sakumi was watching the group's discussion from there.
あら、おはようゆきちゃん。
Good morning, Yuki. Are you okay now?
でもお姉ちゃん、何があったの？
Yeah.
この人たちは？
Sorry. Yeah. But what happened, big sis? Who are these people? When she saw there were 4 new people, Yuki found herself confused at this turn of events. That was why she started to feel uneasy.
あのね、この人たちとはゆきちゃんが寝ている間に出会ったの。今みつるぎさんとお話ししているのが葉月さん。
Well, you see, we met these people while you were asleep. The one Mitsurugi-san right now is Hazuki. Sakumi explained things in order so Yuki would understand.
その隣の制服を着たお姉さんがふみかさん。かりんさんの向かいに座ってるワンピースの綺麗な人がレイカさん。そして
The older woman in the uniform right next to him is Fumika. The one the pretty girl in the dress right across from Karin is called Reika, and finally, Sakumi point behind Yuki. Yuki turned around and saw a woman sitting there. She was looking at Yuki just like Sakumi was.
そこにいるのが渚さん。
This is Nagisa.
はじめましてゆきちゃん。
Nice to meet you, Yuki. When Nagisa's eyes met Yuki, she gave a sweet smile. Hold on a second. Okay, back.
一気に4人も増えたんだね。
So we got 4 more people all at once?
そうよ。しかもみんな喧嘩はしたくないって言ってくれてるの。
That's right, and they all said they don't want to fight.
私、喧嘩は苦手なんだ。
I'm bad at fighting. Nagisa gave an over-exaggerated shrug of her shoulders, and Yuki smiled, finally lowering her guard.
でも、レイカちゃんは足に怪我をしてるから、今なら私でも勝てるかも。
But now that Reika's injured her leg, even I might be able to beat her now. Nagisa punched the air 2 or 3 times as though she were a boxer. She then made a mischievous expression and smiled at Yuki.
弱そう。
You don't look all that strong.
ひどいよ、ゆきちゃん。そういう時は嘘でも強そうだねって言ってよ。
That's so mean, Yuki. Even please just say a lot. Sorry, please just lie and say you're strong in times like these.
怪我っておっしゃいましたけど、大丈夫なんですか？
You said she was hurt. Is she okay? Nagisa frowned at Yuki's comeback. She cheered up again when Sakumi spoke to her.
派手にくじいちゃってるみたいで、一人で走ったり、長い時間歩くのはダメみたいなんだ。
Looks like she sprained it really badly, so she can't run on her own or walk for long periods of time, it seems. Just as Nagisa had said, there was a bandage wrapped around Reika's right leg.
1階で落とし穴にはまっちゃってて、私とふみかさんで引っ張り上げたの。
She fell into a trapdoor on the first floor, and Fumika and I pulled her out.
そうそう聞いてよ。その時分かったんだけど、レイカちゃんってあんなに綺麗なのに体重もすっごい軽いんだよ。ずるいよね。
Alright, and get a load of this. I found out at that time that although Reika's so pretty, she's so light as well. That's not fair, isn't it? Is it? Nagisa puffed her cheeks as she said that. That abrupt digression caused Yuki and Sakumi look at each other and laugh.
絶対に不公平です。
It's just not fair at all.
なぎさちゃんは体重重いの？
Are you heavy, Nagisa?
重くないよ。
No, I'm not. Drawn into Nagisa's carefree attitude, Yuki felt her attention completely wipe away. Yuki then gave a smile and stood up.
それじゃあちょっとお兄ちゃんのところに行ってくるね。
Alright then, I'm gonna go check on Big Bro, okay?
お話の邪魔をしちゃダメですよ。
Don't interrupt him while he's talking, okay? Yuki nodded obediently when she heard that.
分かってる。静かにするときは静かにできるのがいい女だって聞いたことがあるもん。
I know. I've heard that a good girl is one who can stay quiet when she needs to. And with those words, Yuki left Nagisa and Sakumi and rushed over to Soichi.
元気だね。
She's sure a bundle of energy, huh? Nagisa muttered that as she watched Yuki go. Sorry, one sec. There was indeed a hop and a skip in Yuki's step.
そう見えますか？
Is that how it looks?
違うの？
Oh, am I wrong? Yes. But Sakumi didn't agree with Nagisa's
あんま
opinion.
り元気じゃないからこそ、あの子は三剣さんのところへ行くんです。あの子にとっては三剣さんの隣が一番安心なんです。
She's heading over to Soichi exactly because she doesn't have any energy. Because she feels safest by Mitsurugi's side.
そうだよね。あんなことがあったんだもんね。
You're right. After all that happened. Nagisa also heard what happened to Yuki.
よくできた子なんです。それを顔に出さないんですから。
She's a strong girl, not showing any of that. Yeah. Just when Nagisa nodded, Yuki sat down right next to Soichi. When she looked up at him, her eyes were indeed brimming with relief and trust. After he saw Yuki sit down next to him, Soichi resumed the conversation you've been having. So you see, that's why I've been wandering around with no idea what the fourth rule is.
おうけれどそれは違ったわけだよね。
Right. That's wrong, isn't it? Hold on a second. No, wait, sorry, I misread that. So you see, that's why I thought it was to follow the fourth rule that we didn't know. Yeah. That's wrong, right? Yeah. Hazuki and Soichi nodded. They were discussing the incident with the dead man in the non-combat area. He'd been killed inside the non-combat area. Should have been impossible to kill him with. It was impossible to kill him with a collar on. Because if they had, they would have been killed by the building security systems. And Hazuki's group knew the fourth rule. That was how they learned about the Joker, the PDA that could disguise itself as another PDA. It wasn't a special rule that allowed one to escape the non-combat restriction like Soichi's group had been thinking.
ソイチ君、そうなると残る可能性はいくらもないわね。
In that case, there's not many other possibilities, right, Soichi? Fumika joined in. She wasn't as harsh as she'd been when they first met. Quite the opposite. She was a cheerful and rather active woman. Hold on, sorry, 1 second. Okay, she doubted Soichi's group at first given the situation. But once she heard Soichi's side of the story, she realized she'd been wrong. Right.
もう首輪を外した人間がいるのか、初めから首輪をしていない人間がうろついているか、それとも例のエクストラゲームね。
It was either done by someone who removed their collar, or someone who didn't have a collar on from the start, or perhaps it was that one of those extra game things. In addition to Fumika, the girl in the white dress known as Reika joined in. While Fumika was cheerful and energetic, Reika was quiet and calm. The two of them gave off opposite images, but they both were smart women.
エクストラゲーム。ソイチ君たちが捕まっていたというあれか。
Extra game. You mean that thing that trapped you guys? Hazuki crossed his arms in thought when Reika pointed that out. Creases formed on his brow, adding a few wrinkles to his already aged face. That means they're still an enemy, right?
そうだな。残念ながらそういうことになるんだろう。
That's true. Unfortunately, that would be the case. Whether it was done by an extra game or someone who removed their collar, the result was all the same. The person who killed the plump middle-aged man was lurking in this building. And whichever it was easy to imagine they wouldn't just stop at one murder.
だが宗一君、我々はこれで8人になった。それだけでも襲われる可能性はぐっと下がると思わないかい？
But now there are 8 of us, Soichi. That alone makes us much safer. Makes the possibility we attack much lower, don't you think? Then...
ああ、これからは一緒に行こう、宗一君。
Yeah. Let's work together, Soichi. Yes. Now we can... Soichi felt his heart dance with joy at Hazuki's proposal. Thank you so much. You're such a big help to hear that.
困った時はお互い様って言うだろう。
We have to help each other out in times of trouble, don't we? No one in Soichi's group wanted to fight. No, sorry. Was good at fighting. Oh, 1 second. Okay, back. Continuing now. No one in Soichi's group was good at fighting. If someone attacked them, it would take all they had just to get away. And they couldn't let their guard down even when they were sleeping. Resting. So they were grateful to have adults in the mix.
ねえ、おじさま。本当のことを言った方がいいんじゃない？
Hey, Mr. Hazuki, why don't you just tell him the truth? Fumika started smiling. It was just like when Yuki and Karen teased Soichi. Perhaps those two would get along. Perhaps those two had a similar relationship. That was what Soichi felt.
娘さんより若い子供たちを放っておきたくないんでしょ?
You just don't want to leave kids younger than your own daughter alone, do you?
ふみかくん、あまり現実を直視させないでくれたまえ。これでもまだ若いつもりなんだから。
Fumika, please don't... Hold on a second. Alright, back. Fumika, please don't face reality so seriously. may not look it, but I still think of myself as young.
そのセリフは若い人のセリフじゃないでしょ。
A real young person would never say that. Fumika and Hazuki continued talking. They kept on saying things that they couldn't tell if were serious or a joke. Just then, Soichi felt 2 tugs to his sleeve. Soichi looked to find that Yuki was tugging his clothes. And she smiled sweetly when their eyes met. Yeah, that's right, Yuki. Soichi quickly understood the meaning behind that smile. Soichi felt the same as her. Soichi continued to smile at Yuki. I just felt truly grateful that they didn't have to fight these people. Not they decided to work together. Soichi's group all revealed their PDAs, so decided to reveal their PDAs. But at that moment, there was a bit of an uproar.
まさか。
No way.
それは本当なのかね、宗一君。
Is that true, Soichi? Hazuki and Fumika were quite surprised when they learned that, couldn't hide their surprise when they learned that Soichi and Sakumi were the owners of the Ace and the Queen, respectively. When she heard Fumika and Hazuki's shouts, even the composed Reika face warped with shock. The only one who didn't react was Nagisa, but she just simply didn't have. But in her case, she simply didn't understand the rules. That's right.
そうですよ。Mitsurugiさんはエース。私がクイーン。
Yes, Mitsurugi is the ace and I'm the queen. On the other hand, Soichi and Sakumi nodded and explained without looking the least bit phased. They spoke as though they were having a simple chat.
ねえ、みんな何に驚いてるの？宗一くんとさくみちゃんの PDA がどうかしたの？
Hey guys, why are you surprised? Is there something weird about Soichi and Sakumi's PDAs? Not understanding the reason for the commotion, Sakumi tilted her head, her ribbon swaying she did.
ね、渚ちゃん。
Well, you see, Nagisa. It was then that Yuki cut in. Seems she'd grown quite fond of Nagisa. With Yuki being mature and Nagisa being a bit airhead, they seemed close in mental ages, so they've been talking up a storm.
お兄ちゃんの首輪を外すためにはお姉ちゃんを殺さないといけないの。
In order to remove his collar, Big Bro has to kill Big Sis. Yuki fumbled a bit at the word kill. Even she couldn't say that with a smile. But Nagisa showed great surprise. Yuki's words must have gone through to her.
はい、Mitsurugiさん、コーヒーが入りましたよ。
Mitsurugi, the coffee's ready now. Ignoring everyone's bafflement, Sakumi poured coffee for them all. Took the first cup and handed it to Soichi without hesitation. Thank you, Sakumi.
いいえ、暑いから気をつけてくださいね。
You're welcome. Be careful, it's hot, okay? Got it. Soichi then took it as though it were only natural and sipped it. Ah, that's hot!
もう三剣さんったら暑いって言ったでしょうに。
Oh, Mitsurugi, didn't I tell you so? Sakumi smiled wryly as she poured coffee in the other cups one after another. I know, but still.
意外とせっかちですよね、三剣さんは。
Hold on a sec. I didn't take you for someone so impatient, Mitsurugi. After Sakumi gave him a glance while laughing, Soichi carefully sipped the coffee this time. Huh? At that moment, Soichi noticed that everyone's glances were trained on him and Sakumi. And what's more, they were more surprised than earlier, as they stared at them with widened eyes. What's wrong, guys?
どうしたもこうしたも君とさくみさんはその状況が分かっているのかね
What's wrong? Well, do you two, understand your situation? What surprised everyone was how well Soichi and Sakumi got along. Unless Soichi killed Sakumi, he couldn't survive. Sakumi might be killed by Soichi. Yeah, in spite of that, the two of them were acting like a couple enjoying a cup of afternoon tea.
ああ、三剣さんの首輪のことですか。ルール以外で何とかする方法を見つけないといけませんから、確かにあんまりのんきにはできませんね。
Oh, you mean Mitsurugi's collar? We have to find a way to remove it that doesn't involve the rules. So it's true that we can't just lounge around. Same goes for Yuki, Sakumi.
あら、そうでしたね。
Oh yes, that's right. But the group's confusion didn't dispel at Sakumi and Soichi's answers.
いえ、そうではなくて、姫萩はその三剣に殺されるかもしれないとは思わないの？
No, that's not it. Listen, Himehagi, aren't you worried that Soichi might kill you? Reika's question was the one on everyone else's minds. Soichi looked at Sakumi's face, and after she gave him a glance, she started giggling.
三剣さんが私をそんな心配は必要ありませんよ。
Mitsurugi? Kill me? I'm not worried. There's no need to worry about that at all.
なぜそう思うの？
And why do you think that?
そういう人ではないですから。
Because he's not that kind of person. Sakumi continued laughing.
それにそのつもりならもうやってますよ。三剣さんはこんなに複雑な状況になるまで何もしないほどバカな人ではありませんから。
And besides, if he wanted to, he would have done that. He already done that long ago. Mitsurugi is an idiot who would get himself into a situation this complicated.
違うよ、さくみお姉ちゃん。
And you got it wrong, big sis Sakumi. Just then, Yuki popped in between Soichi and Sakumi. She then wrapped her arms around their necks and held them tight.
お兄ちゃんは臆病で根性なしなの。
Big bro's just a big coward.
でしたね。
That's true. Yuki and Sakumi looked at each other and started laughing happily. Soichi smiled wryly as he watched them. To an outsider, it would look like the three of them were either siblings on very good terms, or parents and a child.
心配した私たちがバカだったわ。
You're idiots for even worrying. Fumika heaved an over-exaggerated sigh after she'd been watching with silence up till now.
恋人同士なら恋人同士って最初に言いなさいよもう。
Should have just told us you were a couple from the start. She said that with the utmost exasperation. It seemed Hazuki and Reika felt the same, as they gave looks odd looks mixed with exasperation and understanding.
恋人三剣さんの
A couple with Mitsurugi? But Sakumi's face froze with surprise this time.
そうなんでしょ？
Isn't that right?
違います違います。
No, you've got it all wrong. Sakumi looked at Soichi's face for a second, then hastily looked down with a blush spraying across her face.
三剣さんとはここで初めて出会っただけで、その
Mitsurugi and I just met here for the first time and, well...
じゃあ随分と電撃的な恋愛なのね。
Wow, must have been one whirlwind of a romance you got going there. Yep. It was Yuki, not Sakumi, who answered.
お姉ちゃんとお兄ちゃんは運命の二人なの。
Big sis and big bro were made for each other. Yuki tightened her grip and nuzzled her cheeks against the both of them at the same time.
どっちかというと、ゆきちゃんにとって運命の二人だったんじゃないの？
I'd say more like they were made for you, wouldn't you say, Yuki?
それもそうだよ。
Yeah, that's true. Yuki nodded firmly to Fumika's teasing. To Yuki, it would be a big problem if Soichi and Sakumi didn't get along.
私、二人とも大好きだもん。
I love the two of them. Hey, Yuki.
宗一君、なんとなく理由が分かった気がするよ。
I feel like I understand the reason now, Soichi. Hazuki laughed at the befuddled Soichi.
子はかすがいって言うけれど、君たちはまさにそれというわけだ。
Hold on a sec. Alright, back. They say that children are a bond between man and wife. And it looks like it really is the case, concerning you two.
そうそう。三人でずっとベタベタしてて、私だけのけ者なんだ。
That's right. The three of them have been all over each other, while I've just been a fourth wheel all this time. Karen smirked as she joined in on the teasing. Her words were teasing. But she didn't feel the least bit displeased because she understood the reason for those smiles. Because in other words, that was proof that they trusted each other.
ずいぶん話が脱線してしまったな。宗一君とさくみさんがエースとクイーン。
We've gone really off topic. So Soichi and Sakumi are the ace and queen.
ということは、僕たちはエース4、6、8、9、ジャック、クイーン、キングの8つの条件を満たす必要があるわけだな。
Which means we have to fulfill 8 conditions. The ace, 4, 6, 8, 9, jack, queen, and king. Hazuki brought them back on topic. Soichi was the ace. Hazuki was the 4. Fumika was the 6. Reika was the 8. Yuki was the 9. Nagisa was the jack. Sakumi was the queen. Karin was the king. There are 8 conditions that need to be fulfilled. Out of those 8, Yuki and I can't fulfill ours.
そうだな。
That's true. Soichi's condition was to kill Sakumi. Yuki's condition called for the death of everyone except for herself. Both of those were impossible for the group. We'll have to look for another way. Could be either finding a way to destroy the colors or finding a room without any mechanisms.
そうだな。急いだ方がいいだろう。
That's right. It's best we hurry.
でもエースと Q を除外して考えても満たすべき条件は6つってことね。なかなかに厄介だわ。
But if we ignore the ace and the 9, there's still 6 conditions that need to be fulfilled. It's still quite the hurdle. Fumika said that of a sigh, but Reika shook her head.
いいえ、生島さん。今の状況で必要なのはジョーカーだけです。それさえ手に入れば6つの条件は全て満たされます。
You're wrong, Rikishima. All we need is the Joker right now. If we can get our hands on that, then we can fulfill the 6 conditions.
どういうこと？説明してくれる？
What do you mean? Can you explain?
はい。まず私たちは今8人いますから、キングの条件は簡単に満たすことができます。
Right. First of all, there are 8 of us right now, so we can easily fulfill the King's condition. Oh, right! You did it, Karin! So many problems that popped up all at once that Soichi completely forgotten that. Reika's words made him recall it. And he stood up instinctively yet again.
私？
Me? Didn't seem to click for Karin. As she stared at Soichi dumbfoundedly when he pointed at her. Yeah, you should be happier. You can go back to your sister, right?
ああ、うん。
Oh, yeah. Perhaps because it wasn't clicking with her yet, Karin just gave a vague smile.
そして同じ理由で私の8の条件も満たすことができます。
And for that same reason, we can also fulfill my 8.
しかし私の場合は PDA を5台破壊してしまわなければならないので、首輪を外すのはゲーム終了間際まで待つ必要があります。
But in my case, I need to destroy 5 PDAs. So I need to wait until near the end of the game to remove my collar. Once they destroy the PDA, it can no longer be used. That would mean they can no longer use the map or the functions installed on it. Also, if they manage to destroy the collar, there'd be no nowhere to remove it. So, at the very least, she needed 5 people to remove their collars.
首輪が作動するまでの時間が30分になった時点でクイーンとジャックの首輪が外れます。
When there's 30 minutes left until the collars activate, the Queen, the Jack, collars will be removed.
これでキングのものと合わせて外れた首輪は3つ。4の首輪を外すことができます。
This will make for 3 removed collars. That will allow the 4 to remove his collar. Sakumi, as the Queen, Sakumi's condition was to survive until the last 30 minutes. Likewise, Nagisa was required someone she was traveling with to be alive at that same mark. In other words, they survived until then. They could remove their collars by that point. Then with 3 collars, Hazuki as the 4 would be able to remove his collar.
この時点で壊しても平気な PDA が4台。問題はあと1台ですが。
That means there will be 4 PDAs that will be safe to destroy. The problem is the last one.
それまでに私がジョーカーを入手していれば問題ないってわけね。
But you're saying that as long as I find the Joker before and then that won't be an issue, right?
はい。
Right. Reika nodded at Fumika's supplication. Once Fumika removed her collar, that would make for 5 PDAs that could be destroyed. That will allow Reika to remove her collar. If things went the way as Reika explained them, the problems would be solved. She sure is smart. Soichi felt himself glad that she was on their side when he saw her like that. Shivers ran down his spine when he considered the thought of someone like that being their enemy.
となると、我々は宗一君と結城ちゃんの首輪を外す方法か。首輪をしたままでも安全な場所を探すのを優先すればいいのだろうか。
Which means that we should prioritize finding a way to remove Soichi and Yuki's collars, or finding an area where they'll be safe even with collars on. Hazuki crossed his arms in thought. What do you do with the Joker, Fumika?
宗一君と結城ちゃんの首輪を外そうとしている間に見つかるかもしれないし。
Oh, sorry. What about the Joker that Fumika needs? You might find it while we're looking for a way to remove your collars.
極論すれば、君たち2人と同じ方法で首輪を何とかするのでも全く問題はないんだ。
If we go for an extreme argument, if we can find a way to remove both of your collars, then there shouldn't be any issues. They planned on removing Soichi and Yuki's collars. So if they could do something about those, they wouldn't need to find the Joker. Because they could just do the same for Fumika's.
どうだろうね、Fumika君。
What do you think, Fumika?
そうね、おじさま。下手にジョーカーにこだわるよりはその方がいいかもしれないわね。
You're right, Mr. Hazuki. I think it's better. It might be better than obsessing over the Joker. Either way, the remaining 3 will probably come after us. Fumika calmly assessed that. They assumed that the other 3 were heading towards them. They could be positive about finding a way to removing Soichi and Yuki's
よ
collars.
し、決まりだ。我々は今後この方針で行動することにする。
Alright, then it's a plan. Move according to this strategy. No one objected. So everyone nodded at Hazuki's words. The first thing the group did was, remove Karin's collar, naturally. We have 7 PDAs here for you. They lined 7 PDAs up in front of Karin. Excluding Karin's own, of course. The ace, 4, 6, 8, 9, jack, and queen.
Soichi, どれにしたらいい?
Soichi, which one should I go with? But Karin was having trouble deciding. Even though she had been fine to use any of them, now that it actually came down to removing her collar, her mind was blank. The batteries won't die. That's the scariest thought of them all. Karin activated all the PDAs and carefully checked their battery consumptions. The ace, 4, 6, and 8. Karin looked up after checking those and stared at Soichi again.
ね、今やらないとダメかな?
Hey, do I have to do it now? It's the same whenever you do it. You have to do it eventually.
それはそうだけど、
Well, yeah, but
私だけ悪い気がしてさ。
I feel guilty about being the only one. Karin's gaze was focused on Soichi's collar. She was worried that Soichi and Yuki wouldn't be able to get their collars off. That's not true. Once you get your collar off, there's a lot we'll be able to do. Even just one of us being able to break the rules is a powerful asset. Think about it. You'll be able to attack people in non-combat areas and go into forbidden areas. But on the other hand, that means if you remove your collar, you might have to do dangerous things.
ソイチ。
Karin stared at Soichi in surprise for a while, but eventually nodded with a full smile.
わかった。外してみるよ。
Got it, I'll remove it. Karin then reached for the 7 PDAs.
ねえ、ソイチ。本当は私に危ないことさせる気なんてさらさらないでしょ。
Hey Soichi, you don't really plan on putting me in danger, do you? No, of course not.
嘘だね。きっと私を下の階へ逃がそうとか思ってるんだ。
Oh, liar. You were thinking of having me escape downstairs, weren't you? Sharp. Soichi didn't think exactly what Karin had said. I see, so that's also a possibility, huh? But even then, Soichi played dumb. Karin then picked 5 PDAs. She picked out all the ones except for Soichi and Sakami's.
でもね、ソイチ。そんなわけにはいかないよ。ね、レイカさん。
Well, it won't go that way, Soichi. Isn't that right, Reika? Karin smiled as she looked from Soichi to Reika. Reika nodded.
みつるぎ、仮に首輪が外れても北条を下には逃がせないわ。敵だってルールを破れることを忘れないで。
Mitsurugi, even if she does remove her collar, we can't let Hojo go downstairs. Don't forget that the enemy can break the rules too. Oh, right. Soichi's been so overjoyed being able to save Karin that he'd forgotten all about that.
やっぱりね。
I knew it. Oh, see? Karin gave a smirk. The fact that Soichi was shaken was proof that he'd been thinking what Karin had imagined. Karin kept smiling as she connected the 5 PDAs to her collar one after another. The removal process described on her PDA called for her to first insert the 5 PDAs, and have her own PDA read last to remove it.
ここまで来たらさ、最後まで一緒に行きたいな。
Now we've come this far, I want to stick with you to the end.
私たち仲間なんだからさ。
After all, we're a team. Yeah, sorry about that, Karin. Okay. The fifth beep occurred. With this, all she had to do was insert her own PDA to finish the process.
ねえ、宗一。もしも私が。
Hey, Soichi. In case what? No, sorry. Hey, Soichi, in case there won't be any in case. Soichi didn't let Karin finish. You need to save your sister with your own hands.
うん。
Yeah. Karin didn't have insert her own PDA into her collar. When she did, all of a sudden an alarm rang. It was a different kind of alarm from the ones they heard up till now. The green diodes on Karin's collar flashed in tune with it. Congratulations! You have collected 5 PDAs and fulfilled your collar release condition. And with that, and with the voice that came out of Karin's PDA and collar, her collar was unlocked. I think there was a seam right where the collar connector port was located. As when it unlocked, it opened up as though it were nothing. The group watched silently as the collar fell from Karin's neck to the concrete floor. We did it. Soichi was so relieved he couldn't say anything else than that. Even though they fulfilled the condition, they'd followed the rules, they'd still been worried that something might have gone wrong and wouldn't have been removed.
やったね、かりんちゃん。
You did it, Karin! In comparison, Yuki's reaction was more simple. She gave a big smile and embraced Karin as the latter stared at the collar on the ground.
ゆうき。
The embrace brought Karin back to her senses, and she wrapped her own arms around Yuki so that the latter wouldn't lose her balance. Even so, the impact from Yuki's hug was so great that Karin stepped back 2 or 3 steps.
かりんさん、よかったですね。
Congratulations, Karin. Sakumi held Karin up to keep her from falling. Even though it hadn't been her own collar that had been removed, Sakumi was so overwhelmed with emotion that she started crying. When Karin saw Sakumi's tears, it finally began to sink into her that she'd removed her collar.
ありがとう、さくみさん、ゆき。それとみんなも。
Thank you, Sakumi, Yuki, and all of you. Karin then finally smiled, and she, along with Sakumi and Yuki, went into an uproar.
よかったわ、無事に外れて。
I'm glad she managed to get it off safely. Fumika. Fumika approached Soichi with a smile as he watched the 3 of them with his guard down low. Her face was deep with relief. Perhaps she'd been nervous as well.
まったくだよ。
You've got that right. Hazuki grabbed Karin's collar.
こいつは僕がもらっていいかい？
Can I take this?
どうぞ、はずきさん。
Go ahead, Hazuki.
ありがとう。
Thank you. Hazuki then put Karin's collar into his belongings.
北条さん。
Just then, Reiko, who'd been thinking all this time, called out to Karin.
はい。何ですか？
Yes? What is it?
なぜエースとクイーンの PDA を使わなかったの？最初から仲間だった人間の PDA の方が安全だったはずよ。
Why didn't you use the Ace and Queen PDAs? It should have been safer for you to use the PDAs of those you've been allied with from the start. Karin looked surprised for a second when Reika asked that, but quickly regained her normal smile.
私は弱いやつだから、その方がこの先みんなを信じられると思ったんだ。
I'm weak, so I wanted to put my faith in you, my trust in you from now on.
新しく仲間になった人たちに裏切られるかもって疑っていたくなかったし。
So I wouldn't doubt that my new allies would betray me.
そう。
I see. Reika then nodded and fell silent again as though she understood.
大した娘さんだな君は。つまり僕らは試されていたってわけか。
You're one heck of a girl. So basically you were testing us, huh?
すみません。
I'm sorry. Karin had used her own life, to check whether her new allies could be trusted or not. But she only managed to be able to do that because she believed that even if she died, Soichi and the others would save her sister. That was why she had left Soichi and Sakumi's PDAs out of it. The one she trusted most. Karin's method had been a bit, forceful. But thanks to that, she gained some proof she could trust Hazuki's side.
よし、これで一つ。幸先のいいスタートじゃないか。
Okay, that makes one. We're off to a good start, huh? Hazuki's voice was cheerful. But wasn't just him. The whole room had cheered up all at once. Moving the cars really did have great significance to the group. It had been easy for them, having seen 2 deaths up till now. We'll make it if we keep up like this. Though Soichi was still keeping his concerns and guard up, he really did feel a lot more cheerful.
きっと大丈夫ですよ、三剣さん。心配性なのは三剣さんの悪い癖ですよ。
Hold on a sec. I'm sure it'll be alright, Mitsurugi. You're such a worrywart. That's a bad habit of yours, you know?
お兄ちゃんはヘタレだからね。
That's because Big Bro's a coward. Yuki quickly came over and embraced Soichi. I see. So I'm a coward, huh? Soichi embraced Yuki back as he found that Sakami's assessment of him was not far off the mark after all.
ソイチ、葉月さん、その手前のパネルを踏むと多分罠が作動すると思うから気をつけて。
Soichi, Hazuki, I think if you step in that panel there, there'll be a trap, so be careful. Roger that, Karin.
わかった。ありがとう、カリン君。行くよ、レイカ君。
Got it. Thank you, Thank you, Karin. Let's go, Reika.
はい。
Yes. Okay, I actually think that I was going to try waiting until the next scene, but I think this is probably a good stopping point. So, I'm just going to stop here and pick up from here next time. So yeah, a lot of developments this time around. A whole lot of developments. Some bad, some good, but we have 8 members together, and although they can't move to much better conditions now, strength in numbers and all that, so we'll see how this affects things. Although Ujiyama still died gruesomely, so there's still that to be worried about, and we still don't know what's happening with Goda, Tezuka, or Takayama at this point in time, so there's still them to worry about. But we'll pick up on that next time and see how it proceeds. So until then, I'll see you all later.